Welcome back. The Senate went the way of the House of Reps yesterday, passing the 2022 budget, raising the spending plan from 16.391 trillion naira to 17.126 trillion naira. They also approved President Buhari's request to extend the 2021 budget implementation year to March 2022. The president had earlier sought to extend the 2021 budget to March 2022. According to him, the federal government is looking to fund critical and urgent needs provided for in the Appropriation Bill. Mukhtar Mohammed joins me this morning, economist, investment banker, financial analyst. The last time we had this conversation was Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you made it. All right, so
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, compliment of the season.
Whichever one goes. Let's begin with the environment, because the lawmakers keep rubbing it in our face that, oh, congratulations, we have returned to the January to December cycle. Help us understand the idea of pushing the spending plan to March vis-a-vis the January to December cycle.
Well, it's disappointing because this is a government that have prided themselves, that have come to, even the legislators have prided themselves that they have been able to, one of the achievements they've done is to bring the budget years from January to December, and all of a sudden the executive are the one swinging for extension. But remember that before now there was a cover that makes the budget to run for the first 6 months of the year. So what the president is saying for the 3 months of the year is, for me, is just trying to let them know that maybe it won't run for 6 months. It will just want it to run for 3 months. There's already a law governing that you could extend the budget by 6 months. So there's nothing new about that. Maybe because they're making it for 3 years, but it's disappointing because we begin to pride ourselves that we have a budget that runs from January to December. So, but when you look at the larger picture, you realize that the executive also must have been seeing that the legislator want to jack the budget. They may not just want to have a smooth seal this time. They, before when they jack it, the president called them for a meeting. Yeah. Maybe they are ready to look. We need to get back to business. We can't implement these budgets like this. So if they continue to that, project will suffer. So maybe they are already seeing that and envisioning that, and are saying, okay, we have to extend this budget by 3 months, the one that have been passed, so that we can negotiate and come to a common land, because the president said critical infrastructure. So
how would you say we are doing with budget performance?
Look, Nifemi, how you and I have talked about budget performance before, and I've told you that when it comes, ordinarily, the businessman should have been sitting down and looking at Nigerian budget, begin to plan his business strategy. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. Even the civil servant is supposed to look at the budget and begin to see, is there opportunities here? What's going to happen here? I mean, for a businessman, for a civil servant, begin to say, okay, good, this year, this is what I have to do, this is what I have to do. Do I have to increase my expenditure? Do I have to reduce my expenditure? But Nigerian budget is built of just put it in the books there, tell us what we have to see. Then after that, they'll come with a clever that says that budget approved is not money released. Then we start having the challenges. So for me, the budget in Nigeria has become more or less like a tradition. We just need to present the budget and let's see how it goes. Only states like Lagos State can be commended for their budget presentation, their budget implementation. They've tried to give us the statistics. They tried to give us a breakdown of how much they've been able to achieve. The federal government has not come down to tell us, so look, we have achieved so number in terms of budget implementation by 70 or 60%.
What's the problem with federal government's plan then? Is there an issue of revenue?
Presently, there's an issue of revenue. Presently, there's an issue of revenue. And unfortunately, government only now begin to look at revenue in terms of taxing. The financial bill is all about taxing. Nobody's looking at revenue to grow the economy. Nobody's looking at the financial bill to create job. All we're thinking of the financial bill is how the financial bill can bring more revenue for government to implement more projects. That's all they think about. And ordinarily, the tax regime has gone beyond that. We begin to see tax where developed economy are using tax as a means to grow their economy, not to begin to tax their people like it used to be before.
Government plans to remove fuel subsidy in February next year. Is that good news for you as an economist? Perhaps it's more money to spend.
It's good news. It's good news not because an economist as a Nigerian is good news, because the fuel subsidy have done none of us any good. It has found its way back to the people. I mean, back to the politicians, back to those that are corrupt. We need to, the best way to deal with the corrupt system is to bring it down. And I think fuel subsidy has to go.
But are we considering the initial economic shock for the people?
Listen, that's why I say the government need to think out of the box. What we're saying now, it should be like a pain, not a suffering. Suffering is what you think may last for a long time. But pain is what, when you come with a good medication, you are going to eradicate that pain. So the pain will come when you remove the subsidy. What medication will the federal government be applying? Not the 5,000 medication, because that will not work. Because you are trying to give 5,000 naira to 40 million Nigerians. And the World Bank have told us that we have 70 million Nigerians that are extremely poor. So if you take care of 40 million, what happened to the 30 million? So for me, subsidy should go, because the common man is not benefiting from the subsidy. The government is even more beneficial to the subsidy than we, because it's the government official that drive 4 to 5 cars on the road, and all these cars need to be fuel through subsidy. So for the common Nigeria, some of them don't even have a car. Some of them, the only way they benefit of subsidy is through power, using their generator set. And how many of them can even afford a generator these days? So I think it should go. But the challenge is, if fuel subsidy goes, we need to begin to see results from those trillions of nairas that used to go into subsidy.
And that's the challenge for many Nigerians, because the trust issue is not there. I mean, the track record. So you take this money, what is the assurance that
even what the government is even trying to do in 1 year, and you look at it and you say, well, how much are you saving? You say you're going to be using about 2.4 trillion to begin to pay 5,000. So you're only able to save 600 million. So what is this 600 million compared to the pain that the people will have to go? That's why we say government have not been able to think out of the box. That is the major challenge, and that is going to continue to be a challenge.
What do you consider the best strategy for government now to cushion the effect of a possible removal?
You see, if you're a government, you need to think long term. When this government came to power, remember that the president had even said that he doesn't even believe there's any subsidy. And immediately you get there, you realize that there is subsidy. Then you begin to have a long-term plan. And most of the most sustainable long-term plan in addressing things like this is what we call job security. And provide employment, provide food on the table of Nigerians. That is a long-term strategy. Reduce poverty. So by the time you reduce poverty, and you hike in fuel price, people are not beginning to complain. Not that you have so much poverty in the land and you are hiking fuel price. They feel like you are even compounding their problem. So if you have the plan to reduce to remove fuel subsidy, by now we would have seen a plan that is moving us to prosperity. And then by the time you remove the subsidy, you can be able to show the people that, look, the rail is working in Lagos, the light rail is working in Lagos, you can travel from here to there, you know, bring in things that are workable. We are able to get employment.
That is long term.
That's why I'm saying that you cannot address the removal of subsidy in the short term. Because the short-term measure has not worked for us.
I'd like us to also consider the other short-term challenges. For instance, organized labor is getting ready to shut down everywhere. Look at the economic implication of that on the people.
No, look at the challenge I have with labor. If labor do the right thing, we won't get to where we are. Because who are the people in PPRMC? Are they Nigerian? Are they not civil servants? Are there not those ones that cannot even tell us the number? I mean, even when we were under reception, the number of fuel consumption in Nigeria was more than when we were not in reception. Is it that Nigerians are buying more cars when the economy is bad? We need to look at it. It's civil service have become a conduit pipe.
Let me hold you for a minute to take Reverend Dominic's call. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Fabian. Good morning, Mukhtar.
Good morning, Reverend.
You've answered the question I want to ask the first time, that our budget has become a ritual. It has no basis. It has no substance. I believe my nation budgeted money for power this year, so that if power is 1,000 megawatts, we could get a 1,100 at least. But this year, I have prepaid meter. I can tell you I've not spent over 20,000 naira on it, because you buy this credit, there's no power to consume it. So I don't know the meaning of budget. But I want to disagree with you on subsidy. Subsidy must not be removed, Mukhtar, because every nation has subsidy somehow. In education, in agriculture, every nation. What is subsidy in Nigeria? The only thing we talk about subsidy is petrol. And Mukhtar, if petrol is 300 naira, with the price surge in the market, what will petrol look like tomorrow? What will stock price look like tomorrow? What will it 18,000 naira minimum wage looks like tomorrow? We must find a way to have subsidy in our system. If it's not for petroleum, for agriculture, but you cannot remove it totally, because there's no nation that has no subsidy one way or the other. You agree with me? Thank you.
All right. So I also look at the figures across Africa, and what we're learning is that Nigeria is perhaps one of the nations selling oil so cheap. But what other people are also saying is that we perhaps have more oil than all of them put together. So if we have these resources in large quantity, shouldn't the people benefit from it? And of course, what organized labor is also saying is we have no business refining this oil outside the country.
We have business because organized labor themselves have not helped. That's why the refineries are down. The refineries are down. So it's not about that we have, you don't build a refinery overnight. Today, the organized labor in the oil sector, if they say they want to privatize in the refinery, they will come here and say, no, government cannot privatize the refinery. They must be the refinery. Is that not part of what they do in the oil sector? Is it working for us? Does it work for us? Look, organized labor are part of the problem. They know what to do. They shouldn't play politics with it. Like what Reverend Dominic is saying about subsidy. Government is saying, look, I like a subsidy that will touch every Nigeria, both the rich, the poor, and the average Nigeria. Those are the type of subsidy that will work. And those subsidy, like he was saying, electricity subsidy. Every Nigerian household wants electricity. So if you are subsidizing on that, I agree. Because that means it's going to reach all of us. Then we are going to see something depending on the area that you are staying, like what they are doing in the. So that could be a good subsidy. But you can't be saying you will pay subsidy on petroleum product, and yet the masses are paying more on those petroleum products, because the cost of petroleum product in Lagos is not the same cost of petroleum product in Sokoto. So who are we paying subsidy to? You can't be paying subsidy and you call it under recovery, under the NNPC. The NNPC is the sole importer of fuel. NNPC itself deducts subsidy from source before they remit their money to the federation account, and that is why the government are not happy about that. So subsidy for me in the petroleum product has not worked for us. Rather, it has made people paper millionaires. We've had billionaires out of subsidy. Remember the subsidies probe and how much, I mean, we saw the kind of information we got from those probes. So for me, I'm not saying that we cannot do subsidy, but as it stands, subsidy on petroleum product is not working for us.
Talking about petroleum, the oil benchmark in this budget was raised from $57 per barrel to $62. And the lawmakers are saying the benchmark was done to reflect the current market value. How do you react to it?
Because the lawmakers doesn't know the current market value. They are not looking at the fundamentals of the market. They're only looking at the price. There's what we call price, there's what we call fundamentals. You look at the fundamentals of the market. The fundamentals of the market will come with the volatility in that market. How stable is that market? How workable is that market? How sustainable is that market? This was the first time I was so proud of the government bringing the budget benchmark to a conservative level. For the past 2 years, anytime the president presents the budget, I remember last year when the president was putting the oil benchmark at $60 per barrel, oil price was, on the day he was presenting the budget, oil price was $57 per barrel. Remember I said on this program that we're already having a challenge on that already. So when you begin to see that play out, and you see lawmakers then begin to jack up by almost 1 trillion, and then you begin to look at what project are they putting it into. Those projects doesn't have name. They are talking about INEC, they are talking about National Population Commission. These are parastatals and ministry, these are that can come with a supplementary budget, not by trying to hike it on your own.
Let me hold you for a minute. Godson has called in from Port Harcourt. Sorry we kept you waiting. Please go ahead now. Godson, are you there?
Yeah.
Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, for me, I think the fuel subsidy should still be continued, because if you're removing the money from the fuel subsidy, another issue is the issue of corruption, just like the speaker there was talking about. How do you monitor that how do you monitor the, after you've removed it? How do you ensure that this money is being put into other sectors that will really help the masses? So for me, I think they should continue with the fuel subsidy.
I think we talked about the concern earlier of the judicious use of the money. So you're saying that $62 per barrel was too high?
It's too high with the current market situation, and then with the challenges that we're even having in funding the budget, and you are increasing the funding of those budgets. We are not even thinking of building our reserves. Do you know what they're doing now? If oil price remains at $75 or $80, and we have more money saving to our reserve, that in turn would we be able to solve our current challenge in terms of our forex challenge? That will build up our reserve. That will make sure that CBN is able to meet legitimate forex demands, and that will help the manufacturing sector. That is a sector that is grooming. over the current CBN. So the lawmakers are not looking at the long-term view. You look at those projects that they are saying that they are going to use those money for. So some of those projects doesn't have names. So at the end of the day, one lawmaker there is trying to bring a project to his village so that he will be seen as the one that had brought that project to his village or to his community, to his state, to tell them when I was a lawmaker, this is what I was able to bring for you people. Not because when I was a lawmaker representing Nigeria, this was how much I was able to help Nigeria, and that saving will have a role in playing in the life of your people.
What about the daily oil production, 1.88 million barrels per day?
That is conservative, and that is we should give the Niger Delta. They've been able to considerably manage peace in that space, and we will be able to meet up with that.
Year in, year out, what we have seen is oil being the mainstay, the yardstick, the benchmark for this document. How soon is that going to change, given all of the realities around clean energy that is being advocated around the world?
I was listening to your program, and I remember Mr. Majagodumi saying that in the next 10 years, it's not going to be obtainable. So, but we have a government that, even when you look at the petroleum industry bill that was passed into law, we are still beginning to set aside some percentage of the profit for NNPC for discovering of more oil well. We are not even looking at going to renewable or cleaner energy. So that tells you where we are. We're still living in that full paradise, and we're still thinking oil will continue to be the way it is. No, look at our president was busy signing the agreement of climate change, and here we were in the petroleum industry bill, approving some percentage of money for discovery of new oil well, not for trying to develop renewable energy that will save the climate. So for me, I don't think we are thinking on that line yet.
Let's take this conversation to, okay, I think we lost that caller. We need to wrap up now. Unlike Lagos, federal government is still battling with keeping the capital expenditure above recurrent. What challenge are we battling with here, really?
Political.
What's the implication?
Political. Who are those enjoying those allowances? Why are those allowances being jacked up? It's not you and I. It's not the private sector. Those are political appointees. And I've said it, even right from the presidency down. Because even the presidency is not leading by example. We have, you people are the media people, we have 2 media advisors to the president. Why does the president need 2 media advisors? The same president
Nigeria is big now.
You say what?
Nigeria is big.
Nigeria is big, so yes. One person cannot handle the president media. So that's part of the thing we are talking about. More political, and we are going into a political year. They want to satisfy some of the people that were not giving political appointments again. So you see those recurrent expenditure will begin to come because they are thinking of the next election. We need to give this guy a political appointment so that we can win those elections. Those are the challenges. So we've not had the political will like Lagos State to do the right thing. I've said it and I'll say it again. You don't play politics with your economy. You don't play politics with your security. And those are 2 vital areas that Nigerians have so much. Nigerian government have been playing politics for a very long time. I hope and I believe that maybe someday we'll get it right, because I don't see any reason why recurrent expenditure should keep going up. I mean, last year was lower than the next coming year that we are even battling in terms of financing. Instead of recurrent expenditure to come down, it's going up. So
Mukhtar is saying we have to hope and believe. I'm not sure that was budgeted for in this document.
Well, Nigerian budget. I've forgotten the name of this budget. Yes. By the time you look at the name and you look at hope and believe, you'll find hope and believe in some of those figures, because some of those figures are very unrealistic.
Thank you so much for your time, Mukhtar Mohammed, Investment Banker Financial Analyst. It's always a good time to have you on the program. That's our show today. Thanks for being a part of it. See you again on Christmas Eve.